Go ahead.
Our mission. Helping Parents Heal is a nonprofit organization dedicated to assisting bereaved parents to become shining light parents by providing support and resources to aid in the healing process. We go a step beyond other groups by allowing the open discussion of spiritual experiences and evidence for the afterlife in a non-dogmatic way. Affiliate groups welcome everyone, regardless of religious or non-religious background. Attendance today at this meeting is voluntary, and we are here for the benefit of learning from and sharing with other parents whose child has passed away. It is understood that our discussions are intended to be confidential and not designed to replace traditional therapy or spiritual counseling. However, these Zoom meetings are helpful to parents all around the world, and they are posted on YouTube so that affiliate members who are not able to attend this meeting live can also watch. Helping Parents Heal offers a wide variety of speakers to allow parents to be informed about many possible ways to heal, to connect with their children, and to learn about the afterlife. The views expressed by our guests do not necessarily reflect those of Helping Parents Heal, and we ask that you take from their presentations whatever may benefit you personally. Welcome, everyone, and welcome, Drew. Thank you so much for being here.
Yes,
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. And I just want to first say, before we get started, that Drew is a member of our club. He's a Shining Light Dad. And so I think that that's always very important for everyone to understand that he's been where we've been. He was born a natural medium and psychic, but he largely ignored the presence of these gifts throughout what would be considered his normal life. That is, until a series of traumatic losses and life-altering events brought forth a latent, enhanced spiritual awareness that he was simply no longer able to ignore. From that point forward, Drew became relentless with his thirst for spiritual understanding. He attended the prestigious Arthur Findlay College of Mediumship and Psychic Sciences in England and went on to spend years working in and training training and development around the globe, learning from the best of psychic medium mentors, and of course, the world of spirit. Drew's devotion to the development, understanding, and education, as well as having provided thousands of sessions as a psychic guide, intuitive, evidential medium, trance healer, Reiki master, teacher, spiritual channel, and meditative facilitator, allows him to assist others in a variety of ways. As founder of the Cali Center for Healing, Education, and Intuitive Arts in Ramsey, New Jersey, and online, it is Drew's intention to provide a safe, sacred space for others as they experience their own unique journey, as he mentors those who have developed a sensitivity to energy and who seek to further unlock their natural intuition and psychic self. His overall mission is to bring forth the teachings of a universal spirituality accessible to everyone, with which we may draw upon to collectively grow, heal, and explore our highest potential together. And now, without further ado, please join me in welcoming Drew Cali.
Thank you very much, Elizabeth. I really appreciate it. And Irene, and just this organization, it's an honor and a privilege to share this space with you. It truly is. I feel very blessed to be able to facilitate in this way, So, for me, I always joke, like, when I used to hear the word psychic and medium, it was kind of just like, that's what you did when you had a couple beers and you went to the Jersey Shore on the boardwalk and you got your palms read, and some of them were good, but I was like, I just had no interest in it. And, I had just gotten back. I just gotten back from overseas. I was in the service. I was in the Army. And it was like 2005, 6. And I came back and I got hurt, and I got really addicted to pills and drugs and alcohol. And I ended up getting, in 2011, I started in recovery and got sober. And right before that, about a year before that, I was married. My wife and I had a stillborn baby girl at 8 months and 2 weeks. So we had painted the room, we had the name, and we had to go in the hospital for 4 days, and it was just a real unusual experience, is the only thing I can explain it as. And I was beside myself. My mother, who was like my best friend, had just passed away a couple months before from a battle with cancer. And then 26 days later, after the birth or stillbirth of our Emily, my brother-in-law took his own life in a very violent way. And I had to identify the body because they thought it was a murder. And it was just, this happened in like 6-8 months. But the last two happened within a month of each other. So, and it was it was October into November. And shortly after that, I found myself beside myself. Now, on the outside, I'm Irish and Italian. You don't think you can be raised any more Catholic. But I wasn't really religious in that sense. I was traditional. My father was an undercover federal agent. It was a law enforcement kind of household. My mom was like an Irish artist, so it was a little weird, but good mix. And, family was kind of everything, but so was living up to these expectations. So I really never realized, and I'm a big guy. I'm like 290, 6'2", was really good at sports. I don't fit the bill. For medium, I remember, when this first started becoming when my awareness opened up to this, it was like such denial, because like, how could that be? Like, after all this time, I was 33, and I didn't know how to present it to people, because there was this version of me and I was living my life like I thought I was supposed to live. And then my world was completely shattered. And for some reason, really with the help of therapy, my therapist asked me, so what do you do for fun? I'll never forget it. And I couldn't answer. I made a lot of money. I had cars in the garage. I had a beautiful wife. Everything on the outside looked good, but on the inside, I was dying. If you asked me at the time, I didn't know that. I had no idea. And in very short order, she asked me what I did for fun. And I just remember I was stumped, like, well, what do you mean? I work. Like, that had become like my saving grace. It was like, I was really good at my job. That's where I'm going to go spend all my time. I shut out the world, and I was taking things and drinking and numbing. And when I had to experience the feelings that I had been numbing for many years, I realized, in about a year after that, that there was something different. I didn't know what it was, but I do remember, when I was 22, I was dating someone and I put my hand on her hand. We were in Hoboken and we had just gone to see a Broadway play. And I just remember telling her about her father, and she started crying, and then like she broke up with me the next day. So, I didn't even have a conscious memory of that until someone asked me, has this ever happened before? And I had to really sit with that. And I was like, oh yeah, actually, because it came through me, not from me. Because I kept saying, no, you told me about this. You must have told me about this. And at that time, I had just seen like James Van Praagh and John Edward on TV. It wasn't like you could throw a rock and hit a medium like it is today. It wasn't out of the closets in the living rooms. This was still in the closets at least. So, but I started praying every morning in a very simple way. Can I have a positive attitude today with whatever comes, in an acceptance type of way, not a demand. Please help me have a positive attitude. Please let me be useful today. Please let me, those kinds of things. Very simple. And then start happening. So about a year after that, my sister's like, you got to talk to this psychic. And I remember being like, nah, I'm good. That was my answer. And she was like, no, just trust me, you got to talk to psychic. So I had a lot of things going on with my business at the time. And I was like, okay. So I did. And she was good. She was like 80% right. So I was just like, yeah, but you got that 20% wrong. That's all I focused on. And I remember she said at the very end, and I mean, she told me that there's somebody you co-signed a car for in your office. I'm like, yeah, I didn't tell her that. And I had like 30 something employees. I'm like, yes. And she's like, in April, he's going to default. And does his name start with an R? And I'm like, yeah, like it was scary. So then at the end, she was like, and I'm thinking like, she must have looked that up. I couldn't help it. And this is before you could like, Google everything. So she was like, you're going to do this work. And I was like, excuse me? I never heard of it referred to as work. I was like, what work? What do you mean? She was like, I'm like, I see you standing there and people coming in and you sitting, and then I see you on a platform. And I'm like, what? I'm like, maybe I'm like, coach. I don't know what you mean. I really couldn't get it through my mind. She's like, just trust me, your spirit guides want to meet you. And I remember, I'm such a smartass. Listen, I curse like a truck driver. I don't float. I don't have a bat phone to God. I don't get shortcuts. And I'm still in awe that I get to do this for other people. And these are just abilities. And when I get to share them with people like you and they help, that's when they're gifts. And I don't say that because it sounds good. I mean that. Like, I don't want to walk around thinking I'm special all day. And that's why I was afraid of these, because I thought that these people like had to know everything. And that's a lot of pressure, So it was just funny. So she started talking about the spirit guides, and I'm like, well, what are the names? I don't see them. And she's like, are you sitting next to a fireplace with a brown dog? And I was like, yeah. It just really freaked me out. So she's like, just meditate tonight. So I meditated that night, and I saw a river flowing into a waterfall instead of away. And I remember having this, and I literally was smoking a cigarette. I had my feet dangling off of a bar stool height chair at my counter. And I put out the cigarette and I Googled how to meditate. It was 1 o'clock in the morning, and I surrounded myself with white light. I pretended to, I think I found like an old crappy candle, lit it. I had no idea what I was doing. And, but I just felt intrigued, and I sat there and I had this experience. So a man came underneath the waterfall, walked across the side of the river. And when you make eye contact with someone, their pupils adjust and like lock in. And that, I remember that vividly. I still get this almost like overwhelming, like, holy cow, this is really happening. And I remember that the eyes locked with mine, and I got really freaked out. And he like kind of all of a sudden like floated across the river, whatever you want to call it. All of a sudden his nose was like touching mine. I could feel the heat. And I went, oh, and I opened my breath, and I looked at my dog, and I'm like, time for bed, let's go. And I turned around, and in the window that was over, the sliding glass doors on my deck, I could see the silhouette, and I could gently see the eyes, and it was like a smoky spirit. So I'm opening the door. I'm like, looking, I'm like, this is such bullshit. I got to get out of here. Like, I'm sorry if I offend you, if I curse. I just, being in the Army too long and in the household I grew up in, it sometimes comes out. But it freaked me out. But there was something for the rest of the evening, every time I wanted to get up and walk away, I had this feeling like it was homecoming. Like there was something happening here and I needed to just sit in it. And because I was in such awe, I'll never forget it. It's like you're so tired, you can't sleep. And I'm staring at this for hours. I drew a picture of these faces, kept changing. And I kept asking, are you bad? Are you good? Are you bad? Are you good? And then I wouldn't get an answer. Like, they're bad. They're bad. Like, I just couldn't get that, this is either they're demons or, like I had no idea what to expect. So, but I just kept coming back to this feeling of felt very protected, very safe, very loving, very peaceful. And these are not words that I was used to, and I literally stayed up it was almost a couple days before I could sleep. And then as soon as I stopped seeing them, all of a sudden I was aware, and it was like, I would have a thought and another thought would answer that thought instantaneously. So it was like this, it was like they could see my thoughts in a linear form. It just gave me a whole other energetic understanding. So very quickly, like 2 days after, I went to wash my hands, I put my hands underwater, and immediately I heard, this is Jonathan, you got to call Jason. And I went, no, I don't. I'll never forget it because it sounded out loud, but it was like, it was in my mind, but it was a voice that wasn't mine. But it sounded like it was out loud. But if someone was around, I always question, like, would someone hear that? Because maybe a dozen times in the last 10 years have I heard an out loud voice. And that is one of the most incredible experiences to have that, and I don't even know what to say about that. So all of this stuff, I was scared I was losing my mind. So I went back to my therapist. I took pictures. I'm like, please tell me that I'm not crazy, but I think I might be. And she was like, well, and I'm like, she's like, well, what else? I'm like, well, I didn't want to say I'm hearing voices, but I'm like, kind of hearing voices. Like I am, but they're not like out loud, but they're definitely not mine. And she's like, well, what are you hearing now? So I'm like, I'm hearing, I think it was the name Esther. And she keeps talking about a ring. Like it's your grandmother. And she's like, that's my grandmother's name. This is her ring. So it came in ways that I didn't expect. It wasn't a ghost standing there like, say December. And I'd be like, what else? And then they'd be like, say this. I thought that if you're a medium or a psychic, like this is just like, you're just having a conversation. You get whatever you want, when you want, for who you want. And so because it was coming so, with the driving force wasn't me, I didn't know where I fit in that. And the term medium came to be very true. I'm just the bridge. And I, very shortly after that, I went to Janet Nahovac. Someone brought me to Janet Nahovac. She was only like 30 minutes from my place. And she kept telling me to go to England. I kept missing the cycles here. And everybody I wanted to learn from here either cost a ridiculous amount of money, wasn't available, or it was I didn't trust it, to be honest. And so I wrote to John Holland. He wrote me back, and I probably wrote 5 pages because I thought this was like a unique experience. So I ended up going to Arthur Findlay College, and I spent the better part of about 5 years going there for multiple weeks, every couple of months, if not more. I went to Scotland. I spent, weeks studying trance and healing, and sat in physical medium seances. And I wanted to get with the best of the best and understand what top standards are, because I was receiving evidence and I would watch mediumship, and I didn't want to be, because I'm such a skeptic, even of what I receive. I wanted to make sure that if I'm going to do this, and I said this to the spirit world, if you want me to do this, it needs to come in a way that it's going to be evidential, meaningful, and helpful. Otherwise, have me do something else. Because I didn't want to be arguing with people that this is real. I needed the work to speak for itself. Otherwise, I wasn't going to do it. And I was adamant. And I feel like part of maybe my attitude towards it allowed me to have this opportunity, because I do have I've had police officers that won't give their name. Someone else will buy it for them and they're totally skeptical. They come in, they get like the reading of a lifetime. But it's not when I want it. I've had people come in and I can't read for them. And I'm honest. I'll just be like, listen, it's really just not working. So sometimes it's a timing issue. Sometimes it's me. Sometimes it's them. Sometimes there's an expectation, or I want a code word kind of thing. Or the person they want to hear from isn't the one that appears, So I had to learn this humility and this patience. And that really required me to be flexible and change. And the personal development, in conjunction with recovery and learning about the arts of energy work and healing and meditation. I was meditating an hour a day for like 3 or 4 years. I sit in the quiet, I pray a lot. That communion to me is still one of the most important things for me. But today, it's part of what my daily routine is, but it's really about people. And it's about the living, because I understand, what I came to know is that there's a lot more about the afterlife that we don't know than we do. But I do know there is one. I do know that there isn't a heaven. There isn't a hell. That's what I came to understand. I had suicide in my family. I had PTSD. I went to war. There were a lot of different experiences that I had. And I also, excuse me for the cough drop. I also started to understand that it was like, it wasn't a religious thing. It was a universal spirituality that everyone could access. And that really spoke to me, because I don't like being told what to do. I don't like when people put me in a box. I'm not really a big joiner. I don't want to conform, and I don't want you to take what I say and try to change it or make it something, or, I can't tell you how many people call me like Satan and that kind of thing. When it first started coming out, I did not want to be on social media. And a friend of mine started setting up my social media, and it became a place where people could find me and have sessions that induced some sort of healing, not closure necessarily, right? Mediumship is really, to me, the neon flashing sign of the spiritual shop. It gets you looking in that direction, right? And gets you go, maybe, all right, maybe. And I started slowly coming around to understand that their home, we're visiting. It's not the other way around. And like, I find that people work so hard to get to a place of comfort and security to have the rug ripped out from underneath them right before it, after it, or during. And, or they don't get to share it with the ones that they want. So I do a lot of my own work, and I opened up a space called the Cali Center. And right now it's pretty much the Cali Center online, but it's really through drewcali.com. I wanted to have a home, and I'm only like 30 minutes from Janet's church in Pompton Lakes. So I didn't want it to be a competing similar space, but I wanted to have a space where people could come and really, really learn these long-term processes of understanding how they could connect with their own loved ones. Because when I started doing a lot of healing and Reiki, if you will, I didn't do Reiki until, I used to make fun of Reiki, you know, I didn't do Reiki until I started talking about spiritual healing. And I had someone ask me, do you touch me and I fall down? And I was like, oh God, no. You know, like, so I just wanted to like legitimize what I was doing, and I got tired of explaining. So when I opened this space up, little by slowly, I had people say, hey, can you teach me how to meditate? And I'd be like, well, I'll guide us into a meditation. Hey, can we do like a little mini intuitive workshop? And these things started to develop. And what was so cool to me is that everybody that I met, if you are a human and have a soul, you are psychic. Like, you can't not be. Psychic just means of or related to the soul. It does not mean I predict the future. It doesn't. That's a fortune teller. You know, in England, it's illegal to do that. I liked the standards there. I liked the spiritualist evidential approach to mediumship for my training. Although I don't consider myself a spiritualist, I'm more of a universalist. I need the ability and the flexibility to adapt and evolve my understanding. And I reach out every day to that spirit realm and ask them how I could be useful today and how I could be flexible. And a lot of times I have people sent to me that teach me, you know, and I find that we can ruin our lives based upon someone else's actions. And having lost, you know, a daughter, I didn't get to know my daughter. So I won't pretend to say that it's the same grief as having a child and then losing a child that you've known, whether it was for a day. My daughter was not breathing. So I'm not saying if that happened to you that it's less than someone else. But for me, I can't consider myself the same. I have a 4-year-old now, and I don't know how I would handle it, even being a medium, if she passed away. It's easier to talk about than it is to live. So I understand how difficult it can be. And my job, I feel like, and my mission is to create this sacred and safe space for people to be able to explore meditations and be your own medium. Like, I don't want people coming to me every week, every month. I don't want to be a crutch. I mean, if I could be a guide for a bit, excellent. You know, if I can really show you that this is real, excellent. But I just found that the more people I work with and the more groups that I do, the meditations seem to bring people into a space where they can actually not only heal, but they can have visitations of their own. The key is the mind can't be demanding and controlling the experience. So having to go beyond thought, beyond mind, and beyond self, it takes like when I do an inspired guided meditation, I never know what I'm going to say. I feel like Spirit's giving me words and imagery for that particular group or that particular person. So everyone's got a soul signature, and then there's a group signature. And every group or every person that I work with is a little bit different. Now, I do believe that we progress in the afterlife. We're not just, this is just my experience, my opinion. We're not just blinking, floating light. We progress. Sometimes I feel like children get older. Sometimes I feel like they live in neighborhoods. You know, people ask me what they're doing. And what I usually get is things like, you understand, like he's making fishing lures, and they're like, oh my God, he always used to do that. So they'll give me things that we can relate to. You know, I had one spirit that gave me this really, really incredible visual. I kept bugging them in the beginning. Like, how can I connect with loved ones and not be able to tell people what it's like on the other side or what really happens? I do believe in the review. I do believe we do not cross alone. It's very orderly. We do not get stuck, you know, and I believe that beliefs are very important. And I feel like, and I sat in a circle where they were rescuing spirits. I felt nothing. I sat there for 45 minutes and like, you know, there were like these 4 people and they were, oh my God, you feel it? And I was like, I felt so bad because I'm like, I don't feel anything, you know? And then they were like, well, you're just not on that level. Like, what level is that? Like, I'm still a skeptic of anything that I haven't experienced personally. So, you know, anyway, I just feel like this one spirit, and it was a younger child that showed me this visual, like our relatives are having a pool party. We're in the hot tub with snorkels on and goggles, like with all the bubbles. And they're like standing around watching us. And every once in a while, they nudge us out of the way so we don't bump into someone else and do something stupid. But like to the extent that they can. And every once in a while, the weather conditions are good enough and we can kind of see them or hear them or understand they're there. And then all of a sudden the bubbles come back and we're in that little linear time machine, that linear time warp. And I feel like we are not supposed to know. I think some people get the gift of the NDEs with Raymond Moody and the near-death experiences, Eben Alexander. There's some incredible stories, right? But still, and they're the most unlikely people, right? So for me, you know, I don't know. I still go back and forth, and I'm really open to understanding what is it? Where does it go? I've read everything from string theory to quantum mechanics, and it's awesome. Like I'll understand it for 8 minutes, and then I'm like, wait, what? You know, and what I stopped doing was trying to figure it out. What I started doing was trying to find peace. And I wanted to just find peace in that center point to get to that peaceful space, because I still have struggles in my life. You know, I share custody with my ex, with my daughter, and that can be very difficult at times. You know, and I think that our spiritual journey is rooted in our humanness. We're not supposed to rise above it and float and, you know, never curse and do everything right. And I think that this pressure on us comes from, you know, man-made rules that were trying to keep us safe, maybe, but then it morphed into control. And I just feel like, you know, every time I've had someone come to me, and there's been people where they've come to me where they've lost a child or just a really significant person, and they're just angry. And no matter what I say, it is not going to help them, because they just want me to tell them what they want me to tell them. And then if I told them what they want me to tell them, they'll be mad they didn't get what they need. You know, so there's a certain space I feel for people that they need to be in order to receive a truly healing reading. It doesn't mean I can't connect and get evidence and provide you with that, but to get one of those, oh my God, readings, I find that there's a purpose to us not knowing maybe how wonderful this other world is. Because I would believe if we knew, maybe a lot more people would check out. And if there's life after life, then the life that we're living has purpose, you know, and sometimes our purpose is to find our purpose, you know, or to reignite our passion in life, or to, you know, find forgiveness for other people, or to ask for forgiveness for ourselves, you know, or just to forgive ourselves in general. I do find that there's a lot of ancient wisdom that I've looked at. I thought I'd become a Buddhist, a Taoist. Like I went through this phase of like, that sounds good today. Oh, that sounds good today. Anything that wasn't Catholic, because I just couldn't, I had that my whole life. And, you know, my whole family's involved in it. I mean, my cousin was the altar boy at St. Patrick's Cathedral. I had another cousin who had a very unpleasant experience, as we all can understand. So what I came to understand is people are people and some people are playing roles. You know how you could have, like if I do a family session, I find it amazing that if I mention, let's say dad, and I have two brothers and a sister, you know, and I say, you understand he was like really, really like this. And two of them will go, yup, and the other one will go, you know what I mean? The way that we also have roles that we can't possibly understand in our life. And I do believe that there are past lives. I do believe that we are in soul groups. You know, you meet someone and you like them right away. You meet someone and you don't. You know, that intuitive instinct, that empathic awareness of energy and emotion, those are all very real and very significant and lead us much more than we know or are aware of. And I believe that, you know, we're not supposed to logic our way through. We're not. On some level, I had to finally come to terms with that. I signed up for this experience, that, or the potential of these experiences, you know? And when I stopped asking why and I just accepted it for what it is, it allowed me to extend a hand out to other people that were at that why stage or, you know, some other stage, you know, and that really gave me a lot of peace. And I will say that in having gone to Arthur Findlay College 1 week at a time, I would spend 3 weeks, 70 hours a week, blindfolded, doing crazy stuff, holding objects, trying to figure out who it belonged to and what they did. And I'd hold dirt. I could, if you told me to do, I would have done anything to try to understand this. I wanted to just know that if I was going to do this, I was going to be damn good. And after about 2.5, 3 years, I finally got to a point where I was working with these two guys, and one was really into healing. And he just looked at me and said, Drew, why don't we circle back to the why? Not why somebody passed or why this happened to me or why is life, you know, here. It was like, why do I do this work? You know, and for me, all the pain that I went through allows me to truly identify, maybe not with the situation that somebody's going through, but I can truly empathize and identify with those feelings, you know, and I think that people have a resonance within them that they feel that or they don't. You know, I can tell when someone's, and you all can too, like if someone's just rattling stuff off and it sounds really good, but there's no feeling or weight behind it, I can't get into that, you know. I need raw, I need emotion. It makes me feel alive. And in doing this, I don't pretend to be the best. I don't get everything right. And that's what I was trying to do in the beginning. When I finally just allowed spirit to lead the way, I found that the needs of the person would be touched, not my wants or what I think they should get. And that's when things started changing again, you know, and my journey's, you know, it's funny. The town I live in right now, I grew up in, I was never coming back. And like, you know, because of my daughter, I sold my place in New Jersey. I moved up to Saratoga Springs. I bought a bunch of acres, sold my business, built a house. I was like, I'm done, you know, and had a daughter and had to move back down here and opened up a center. Everything I said I wasn't going to do. And I could tell you story after story of, I do feel like I connect with an angelic realm. I do connect with spirit guides, guardians, teachers, healers, masters, if you will, loved ones. None of you don't have access to the same thing I do. I truly, truly believe that. I'm not just saying that. And I don't know that so let's say if you gave me all of you guys for a weekend, I could have all of you getting 2 or 3 things about a non-physical being, someone who's alive, but in the other world, for someone else who you never met before. But that doesn't mean that you can go out and do this work for a living. I feel that there's very few people that are supposed to do this work and that are called to do it. It's been the most difficult journey I've ever experienced, but the most rewarding too, but it changed my entire life. So, you know, and I can't tell you how much it keeps changing. One day I feel, I see, I hear. The next day, or I'll get people that are like, you know, I could give you everything, like what the name is, when they passed, and they had blue eyes, and I'll get someone, was he bald? It's just amazing, like, because we just can't, and I'm like that too. I'm like, are you sure it's not my uncle? You know? Or I'll have people make, you know, their cat into their parrot or their dog into their grandma. You sure it's not my grandma? You know, and it's so funny to me, like how much we just want to connect with the spirit world, and you all can. So I would love to take any questions, and I will do some connections. And I also, at the end, would like to take us into a guided meditation so that we can just have that space, and maybe you can get a visit, maybe not, and it'll be in a way that is unexpected for you. Because I feel like if you listen to a guided meditation, like if you're going to meet your spirit guides, your mind's already working on it. So like you'd rather go into a meditation. I love live meditations because I don't even know what I'm going to say. So how could you? You know, and it's cool because someone will be like, dude, before you said the river, I saw a river. And I'm like, yeah, you know, like I love those kinds of experiences. It shows how connected we all are, you know, and I'm open to a lot of things, but I didn't want to do rainbows, lollipops, and unicorns. I didn't want anything to do with that. Like, who died? Oh, your mom. Oh, she's lovely. She's with the angels. Archangel Michael came and took her. Because I heard people do that and I didn't feel like that was real. And if someone did that to me, I would never go back to a medium. So I do feel that I represent mediumship not in its entirety, but in the art of what it is. And it's improv. I have to be so open and present that when something comes, I have to acknowledge it. And it's very subtle. So I hope some of this, you know, explains where I come from. I did not have this on my radar, even with my dad. I remember telling him, and he was like, well, I don't believe in it, but I got to believe you because you would never make this up. You know, I wouldn't. I mean, I was like a wrestler, a judo guy. I boxed, football, and not like I was a bully, but like, you know, most people think I'm a cop, you know? And so it's amazing to me. And I'm like, I'm super sensitive, you know, and I don't feel anything. It doesn't make me less masculine, you know? I feel more empowered now being vulnerable than I ever did. And I think that we all are looking for these quick kind of safety seal bags to kind of close everything up and compartmentalize. And then life is messy, you know, and we all can handle it. And if we come together and we ask for help. So for the fact that you guys are here, not for me, but for this group and for each other, that is something. Because I can tell you there's a lot of people that I've worked with where if I showed you 2 5-year trajectories, one that went into grief, you know, grief group and or therapy, mostly with the grief group though, and one that didn't, it's 2 totally different healing journeys. You know, one of the people in my family, she never got better. She got worse. Everyone else was the problem. Everything else is the problem, and she's the answer. You know, it doesn't go well. And, you know, it doesn't have to be like that. And it's hard to watch, you know, so sometimes we have to be the power of example for other people to heal too. So I just,
Drew,
go ahead. Yeah.
Can I just tell you that people are writing the kindest things. They love hearing you talk. Some of them are, for instance, he has this very strong energy. It has me shaking, actually. They love the fact that you say we're home, they're visiting. Love that whole jacuzzi image.
Isn't that wild? Yeah.
Rhonda's saying, thank you, Drew. Your honesty and openness is so refreshing. We also have people saying that they're glad that you've been saying the things that you're saying about, well, the cursing part in the beginning was something that everybody was able to identify with, and they love that as well. I also, I think that it's important maybe to get to 1 or 2 questions, but a lot of people would love to do gallery readings. So is it okay?
Sure.
I have one question from Galen saying, please explain the difference between universalist and spiritualist. Could you do that for us?
Sure. So I guess if you look at the word isolated as spiritualist, it's the same thing. However, spiritualism has went from being a mediumistic movement to a religion, because in the 50s or 1945-ish, 1955, in England, they organized it as a religion so as to avoid the witch laws, so that they wouldn't come in and pull mediums out of a seance or out of a reading because of the laws that you can't do witchery. Excuse me. So not that there's anything wrong with that, but then it became this, there's something called the Spiritualist National Union, the SNU, and they governed Arthur Findlay College, and they oversee who's a spiritualist church And if it's a spiritualist church, you can be any faith and still go in, and it's basically mediumistic and healing, but they varied so much. And then it became very, for me, it became very, there are a few, Janus Church is excellent. There are some that I've been to where there's nothing resembling Janus Church. And, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that, to me, spiritualism or a spiritualist is maybe not a religion, but it's a movement based on trance and channeling and healing and energetic presences of mediumistic unfoldment. That's the soul unfolding and opening up. And universal to me is everybody's got a little bit of it right, and I'm just me. That's what I feel like a universalist is. So I can go to, I say a rosary, about 4 or 5 times a week, because it makes me feel really comfortable and safe and takes me out of my brain. And I whisper it in a closed, quiet area. And I just sit there, and it allows me to go into a space where my mind's not like, I gotta pee. Like, and how long have I been sitting here? My legs hurt. Like all those things where it's like, I'm kind of hungry. In a meditation, we can fight with our brain, and we're not supposed to fight with the thoughts. Resistance is persistence. So I do anything and everything. I've been to Janus Church numerous times. I went there for a few beginner trainings when I first started. I go there and I'll witness, mediums on occasion. I find that spiritualism spiritualism was the training place that I needed because I didn't even know there was a thing called evidential mediumship. I had no idea. And I didn't want people filling in stories, because then my brain gets in the way, and my ego will want to conclude and come to end the story in the way that I think it should. So, watching that amazed me. So if there is a difference, it's just that one is truly, by itself, they're the same. But if you're a medium, or if you're into mediumship, you will come to understand spiritualism, and a spiritualist is something a little bit different. There's also, in South America, it became a spiritist, and they do very similar things, but they do like healing demonstrations where they use like weird instruments to just show that healing can happen. So there's a lot of that. With universalism, to me, or, it's not really religion. It's not even necessarily spiritual. To me, some people want to replace the word soul or spirit with consciousness. I'm okay with that. Like, if that gets you there, great. To me, consciousness is the construct and the container, and the soul is the living experience within that. That's the thing for me. And the soul is where the true divine intelligence is. They come from the same place, but I feel like the soul is the eternal, and the consciousness is like the divine river that runs through you, from you, to you, for you, if that makes sense.
That's beautiful. And one last question, and I don't know if you might be able to run over just a little bit.
And listen, so guys, yeah, I feel like you feel like I'm going to end. Like, I'm not going anywhere. I will go and do as many readings as I can, and we'll do a meditation. It's 8:46. We can go till my time, 9:30, or we can go, if I can go 2 hours, I will. If I can't, and I feel like I'm really like not able to represent the information that well, because I do this all day, I will tell you, because I don't like doing it like that. Right.
Well, one
burn
last
out
question.
And do that is not worth it. Yeah.
We totally understand. But one last question. Do our children automatically know how to communicate with us? I feel from
That's
a
really, really good question. So what I feel like is that I do feel like some communicators come through where I'll feel a grandparent first, or your mom or dad first, or someone else, even like a cousin that died way long, and people will be like, well, yeah, and they like don't understand. Sometimes it's like a side door needs to open so that your expectations shift, and your mind isn't like, is that you? Is that you? Because an energetic fence almost goes up, I feel like. So I feel like some communicators can do that, and then some I feel like I can't ignore them, but it's not because they love you more than the next person who didn't get a message. It's because the timing is right. It's because the message that's going to be heard is going to help you at a point, and you're at a point that you can actually hear it. Because there are times, especially with children, where I've had kids come through so clear that now I am the attachment to their child. And, one of the things about mediumship that I worked very hard on is bringing the presence through in a way that you feel like they're in the room with me, and I really love that, but not too much so where like we're both crying, because then it's like hard to stay in it. But like, really I want, there's a difference between going, yeah, that's my mom, and going, oh, that's my mom, she used to say that all the time. There's a difference. And I can't force that though. But I guess my point is that there's a build in the relationship. I open the door for the highway. My job is to not let a traffic build up. And the other person, I have to really I'm the keeper of the integrity and the flow of the session. So I have to really kind of be like, okay, just give me a yes or no, because people can't help but explain. So I do feel that some communicators seem to come through loud, clear, crisp, unmistakable, and others I really have to work to understand. Part of that, and this is where it gets a little complicated, they have to work through my data bank, my references. If somebody had a baby that didn't come to term, I almost always will get that when I'm reading for somebody. If somebody had someone that passed in a very unusual way, they might use someone that's close to me, and I might say a name, it doesn't make sense to you, but the way they passed is similar to your child. So I'll say, okay, you don't understand, but do you understand somebody that would have passed this way? And you go, yeah. Now, because of the person's name, I'm thinking it's an older male. And you're like, you have to tell me, no, it's my child. So it may seem like the medium is getting it less clear, but I do feel like they do have an adjustment period where they have to learn the language. Because think about this, there's a triangulation. They have to work through my spirit team, right? Like, just imagine an invisible medium back to back with me, who's like, all right, you guys ready? And there's like this line of like little spirit kids that come up like, all right, do you think we can get this guy through? All right, let's see. And they'll kind of have an organization to it. I do feel like it's very organized, it's very overseen, they're very looked after. And I feel like, it's like there are times where at the end of almost every group that I do, they'll be like, everything you said about that one's for me. But like for 10 minutes, I'm like, bah, and people are just sitting there waiting. So I feel they will go to where they know they can land or make an impact and test the waters. So you might think it's for you, and then halfway through it totally changes to someone else, or it's a yes, no, yeah, maybe, no, yeah. It's not like really locking in. Usually there's something wrong there, either with the communication or with the wrong person. So I feel like the best mediumship that I've done and that I've witnessed is my job first and foremost is to get the right person to the right person, and then to validate that it's really them, and then this is why they came. So there's a lot of factors that can go into somebody not coming through clearly. I don't truly know. There's a lot more. I'm very comfortable saying I don't know. I don't know. I do know that, like, I can't imagine if we go home that we don't know how to speak that energetic language. But what I can imagine is if I have to go speak through Irene, I might go to Irene to get to Nancy Butler and give different information, because she might have to hear stuff visually so that what comes out of her mouth resonates with Nancy. Where if I went through Irene as a medium to Elizabeth, I might have to give her much more analytical information or emotional information, and different metaphors, or I might have to hear a name. There might be something else that anchors it so that words come out of the mouth differently for her. I feel like I have to speak the language of the living soul for the non-physical soul, if that helps. So there's a lot to it. The more I get into this, the more I realize I don't know. Because the other side of that is, I think they would just have like a school, they would just be like, okay, I'll touch you, now you know how to speak the language. I just feel like it's so intelligent that we're the ones who can mess it up, if that helps.
That's beautiful. And we have so many people saying, love his thought process. This was a great explanation. Your energy is amazing. And so everybody is on the same page with you. And I know that everyone would love to move into the gallery readings if you'd like to do so, if you feel that that's
Absolutely.
something that he speaks my language as well. So
yeah, listen, I got cray all day in my head. So the biggest thing is learning, is this mine? Is it yours? Or is it your people? Is it my people? Like, we don't know. So I just ask that everybody be open and try not to make it the person you want it to be. Allow it to be the person as they present themselves to be. Does that make sense? And I really ask that you just give me a yeah, that makes sense. No, it doesn't. A quick example of two ways to look at this. One is I was doing a reading for a woman. I looked at her and I was like, do you understand that there's a gentleman who would have passed late 30s, early 40s, would have died of a heart attack, and brown hair. He was like, you're either your ex or like your boyfriend. And she said, yeah. And I'm like, you understand you always wore a blue hat? But everything she said to me, she had to qualify. She said, well, kind of. And I'm like, what do you mean? And I kind of pulled teeth. And she said, well, it was light blue. I swear to you. And I was just like, are you kidding me? You know, I don't sound like, okay. You know, if I find that somebody is not, that's when somebody's telling me this can only be received so much, right? Because I get exhausted trying to like force it. And then, it's very frustrating. So, and then not to make everything fit either. I do not want that, and I won't let you do that. I also feel like one example that's perfect is I don't always know if it's figurative or literal. So I had these two ladies coming up in Saratoga, and I was sitting there and I was going on and on and on about this grandma. And then all of a sudden I said, in my mind's eye, right? Because I don't see the ghost like walking around with like St. David, right? And in my mind's eye, I saw this little baseball bat floating into like a dollhouse garage that was made out of like popsicle sticks. And it was so weird. It was almost like Legos and popsicle sticks and like really bad glue. I'll just never forget it. And I was like, I don't know what to say about that. And I'm like, oh, did I say that out loud? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, so it came again. I'm like, I don't know where to go with this. So I just said to them, do you understand why I would see, like, what's with the bat in the garage? And they were like, holy shit, we killed a bat in the garage this morning. And I was like, oh, I didn't tell them I saw this little bat. It floated into, but I could have said, do you understand somebody that collects little baseball figures? They'd be like, no. Do you make dollhouses? No. And so what I receive is usually never wrong. How I perceive it and convey it can be, right? So if that helps, all right? So I'm gonna let spirit lead me here. So I have a couple different people here. I have two people. I have two moms. I have two moms that are coming through. I know that I have one mom who would have passed more recently than the other. And if the other mom might be a mother-in-law or it's a stepmom or it's mom and grandma, but they feel like two moms. So just give me a second. I know that this mom would have passed, there would have been either a heart condition and that would have led to like a cardiac arrest or heart seizing. Feels like heart attack. And I know the woman would have been in her 60s. I also know that she would have been pretty much at home most of the time and she would have passed at home. I also I don't know if I'm confusing the two or if I have two different people entirely, but I also have somebody else here who's with her that feels like there's some sort of stroke or aneurysm. Like I feel like there's a rise up or an implosion that goes up more towards my face and head. So, and they're contemporaries. So meaning they're on the same generation. Okay, now look, if it's godmom, stepmom, or mom and aunt, but the way they're coming through is like two moms. Okay, does someone understand this?
So if anyone understands, I'm kind of writing what he's saying in the chat box. Please send me a message or send us a message so that we can identify this person. So Joe is saying I do. And
where is
so Joe is saying I do. Colleen is saying my aunt passed of an aneurysm and my other aunt had.
Yep, hang on one sec. So I feel like the second person you said, what was the name?
Colleen. And the first aunt passed of an aneurysm. The second aunt was an embolism. They're sisters.
Okay. Can
Yes,
we highlight her or?
Colleen Byrne. So Irene will be helping me. Colleen, maybe you could just wave your hand.
If I could just see your picture, or can we spot?
I asked her to unmute.
Okay, good. That's wonderful. So she should be unmuting. And let's see if I can find her.
Yeah, me too.
Can you say something, Colleen? Colleen?
If your picture's on, it's easier for you to come to the front.
Yeah. And
Hey,
it's,
Irene, you were talking to me, but you had the wrong Colleen.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
oh, Smith. Okay. Hi,
Hey, everybody.
Smith.
Hi, Colleen.
Who's also a medium, which is wonderful. So let's see if we can find Colleen Byrne. Let's see. Do you have your picture on, Colleen? Oops, I think I just saw her. Wait.
Oh, I see her. There she is. So we just have to
Yay.
ask her to unmute, and then I'm gonna put you on a spotlight.
Yeah.
So then there he is. Okay. Is that you with the white hat, right?
Yep, that's me.
Okay. So Colleen, you also understand you have 2 dogs in spirit?
Yeah, more than 2, but yes.
Okay, but I know that there's like a white and a black one. Okay.
Well, yeah.
Okay. So there may be more, but I just need to give you what I'm getting. I just get like fuzzy doggies. Hang on. So do you also understand like the Marlene or the Maureen name?
Maureen is my niece.
Okay. And is that connected to the Elizabeth?
Oh my God. One of my aunts that passed, her name was Anne Elizabeth, and we called her
Okay. And
Annie.
is that the one with the head issue?
Yes.
Okay. So I just need to try to separate because I have a lot of people that are really trying to come in. So I just need you to know that it's so funny because she's so proud of you, but also did your dad pass as well? Yeah. I just need to bring dad in here, and he had your eyes. You understand this? Okay. So they're light eyes is what I keep getting. And I know I just feel like there's a real likeness with you and dad, right? And it's like, I don't know if there's just got to be this really strong bond the way that I get it. Okay. And I know too that, so do you understand that you're really competitive? Yeah. Because I feel like if I'm going to play golf with you, I got to watch out. All right. And this is like from dad, like he loves that about you. Okay. So I just need you to know that they're together. They're okay. Also, so do you understand the younger boy that would have passed also?
Yes, my son.
Yes. Okay. And do you understand the, he also had lighter hair? Okay. And I don't know if he had light eyes, but because I have I have twin nephews, and one has brown eyes, one has blonde hair and blue eyes, and I'm seeing both of them. So I wasn't sure, but I also need to let you know. So who's like, I get 2 names, and tell me if I'm wrong on names. Okay. I don't like to just throw a bunch of names out. I know they're significant when I get them in multiples. Do you understand the Sean name?
Sean is my brother-in-law. Yes.
Okay. And do you also understand the Charlie or Charles?
Yes, it's my nephew.
Okay. So I just need you to know that they're trying to show you that this is real and that he's okay and he's really looked after. And also there has to be like a Grandma Mary or Grandma, like, you understand that? So I just feel like everyone's coming through here, and December is very significant. So somebody would have passed, or there's a birthday right there. Do you understand?
My dad passed December.
Okay. And he's like kind of gruff, but he's funny, right? He's kind of like dry. He's like, yeah, that's me. Like, I just feel like that's just how he is. He's kind of, I'm here, but this is weird, but I'm here, right? And he would never not be here for you. Okay, but he just needs you to know that the little one's okay. The little one's okay. So were they like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9? Like, I don't know why I keep getting those numbers of 5 through 9. Say no.
No.
Okay. So, but you have 2 kids, correct?
I have 2 living, and DJ
Right.
passed.
Okay. I'm sorry. I know that could be a loaded question. And you have a boy and a girl?
Still here, yes.
Right. Okay. So it's interesting because your son keeps showing me a baseball hat.
Which I have.
I was just going to ask you, is that his, or is that like something that you would understand with the baseball hat though?
I wear them all the time, and he's
Okay.
like, could you...
So, but do you also, and I know too that it's so funny. He keeps making me feel like, Mommy, I hear you. Mommy, I hear you. Mommy, I hear you. And there's something about, did you have a pillow embroidered?
Not a pillow.
Okay. So I just keep seeing a pillow, but I keep seeing an embroidery like laid over it, or like something that would be embroidered. Okay. Don't give it away. Just, I'm okay if I'm not spot on. He's like, you know what I'm talking about, Molly. So it's interesting too. So did he call you Mama?
Yeah.
Because he just corrected me. He's like, no, that's Mama. So did he also, I don't even know how old he is. So do you understand he kind of had a voice like Dad? I'm talking about your dad.
Oh, my dad, yes.
Yes, right? Right? And I don't even know how I know that. It's just like, I just feel like they sound similar. And Dad's like, yeah, and my boy. Like, it's so funny. It's so cool to me. And I don't know what this is with the curly hair. You understand that? Is that with your boy or your dad? So why would I get that? All right. I keep getting that. I get like dirty blonde, curly, or wavy. Okay. So do you understand that it was messy?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. Because you just can't get off of, I can't get off of like, it's like someone took my hair and frizzed it out or messed it up. Okay.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
So I gotta say, do you understand the accident? Say no if it's no. But this feels unexpected to me.
It is unexpected.
Okay, so it feels like I want to talk about the tragedy, but the accident, or that this isn't on purpose, correct? Okay, don't give me anything else. I want them to be able to speak for themselves, okay? He just needs you to know that it was his time, it was his time, it was his time. He keeps giving me that, like, Mom, it was my time, it was my time, it was my time. And I gotta tell you, he's like a little pistol. That's what I feel like. Because it's almost like he wants to crack jokes and doesn't want to really get emotional or serious. Like, he doesn't want you to be. He wants you to just keep it really light. It's almost like, hey, Ma, like, can you believe this? Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is crazy, but it's cool. And like, I feel like he's very, very peaceful. However, he does feel the emotions and the heaviness in the house. He just doesn't want his brother and sister to pay for his missing, for his passing. Okay. He doesn't want to be treated as a saint because he's not around anymore. And everybody has to like kind of live up to this new expectation. Or I feel like brother and sister feel that they have to do it perfectly. Otherwise they won't be able to live up to like the hype with him or the attention he could get. Do you understand that? Okay. And listen, I'm not trying to judge anything. I'm just telling you what I'm feeling. And I just feel like it's like, he really wants to pave the way for much more healing. And I also know that this caused a lot of friction with you and Dad, correct? Okay.
Yeah.
So, and I don't mean to get too personal, but I just need to acknowledge it the way he's giving it to me, is that like, it's okay. Everything's okay. But like, it's just really important that we get honest in order to get healed. I just keep getting that. Okay. We have to get honest in order for us to get healed. And it's a journey, but you signed up for it and you need to remember that. Okay. And that he wouldn't have chosen any other mom. And I get the word awesome is something that he must have said, because I get that word, like, you were awesome. Like, it was awesome, but it's his time to do this and it's your time to do this. Okay. All the energy that you gave to him, he learned from, he experienced from, and he just wants you to know that he's given it back to you. You just can't see it. And he wants you to be able to give it to everybody else, not to what's not there. He'll always be with you. He just needs you to know his heart beats with yours. So if you want him to be happy, be happy. If you want him to be upset, be upset. It's okay to be upset and go down. You got to get honest about it. In order to get better, we have to get worse first. We can't pretend, because we'll stuff it down.
Yeah.
Stuff it down. So was it grandma that had cancer?
Or
Or is it your mom?
No, well, somebody that passed was one of my aunts. She also had cancer, which is how she got the embolism.
Got it. Because he keeps making me feel like she was the type that would stuff things down.
He might be talking about my sister who currently has cancer.
That's it. So just understand that. And is it in the lower abdomen or something?
Yes.
Yeah. So just know it's his way of showing you, you got to release this stuff. You have to release this stuff. If you don't release this, it will manifest itself into physical reality. Okay. And he doesn't want that for you. You deserve better. And he's look, I know it's very hard to hear that our children are fine, because how can they be? Look, I have a 4-year-old daughter. If she was like, I'm fine without you, I'd be like, nah, you know, but it's not that. It's that the soul itself had reached its maturity level for this particular experience, because it just goes round. I just keep seeing figure eights, figure eights, figure eights. He's very connected to you. Always will be. And he'll be your number one fan. That's like, you get it, your number one fan. Also, so what's the 12? I know I said December being significant. What's the 12? Is that like a lucky number? What's the 12?
Yeah, my father died on 12/12 at 12/12.
Okay, because my birthday is 12/12, and I kept seeing that. I didn't know why. All right,
Yes.
perfect. So just know it's like he keeps making me feel like, you know, again, there's a whole other world over here. We can't give you any more than what we're giving you. Like almost like, don't you think I would if I could? You know, and so who liked the cool cars?
He did.
Okay, I just feel like I like cool cars, like whips. So I call them. I can hear the engine, but it's almost like Fast and Furious cars.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's like I'm spinning out. And he just makes me feel like all these weird colors, like teal green and red, and like it's like, does it have to be that loud and little? You know? That's what I feel like. So also, so do you understand that? I don't know what this is. So he was a teenager?
Yes.
Do you understand? Was this an overdose?
No.
Okay, I keep getting that. I just keep feeling like my body's overwhelmed. Okay, do you understand that? Okay,
Yeah.
I just keep feeling like my body's overwhelmed, and I can't breathe, but it's like very quick. So
Yeah.
I don't know if that's supposed to give you peace, because I don't give like long rants about stuff that doesn't help. If it doesn't help or it doesn't heal, I want nothing to do with it. It just makes me look good, which is useless. So, but he just makes me feel like it was like, oh my God, is this happening? And then I'm out of my body. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just feel like you need you to know that there wasn't any pain. The shock came after, but at the same time, because you're being called to this, the root of who we are, the home of homes, it's like, you know that for you, it's a lifetime. For him, he's going to see you tomorrow. That's what it feels like. So please understand that. And that's why it's like hard for them to completely, and if I'm being honest, I have to give you what I'm getting. I don't want to just tell you what you want to hear, because it doesn't feel like that. Okay. It feels to me that he is, so did you have a dog named Oreo?
Yes. One of the black dogs.
Right. So you just kept showing me that he's with Oreo. He's with Oreo. All right. So I just need you to know it's really important that you understand that this is real, right? I couldn't Google Oreo, right? I didn't even know who you are, that you're coming on. And it's just important that you understand he's where he's supposed to be. And that's the best he can do. And I just, so is your dad's name Bob?
Mm-mm.
Who's the Bob or Robert?
Robert's my son-in-law.
Okay. So again, I guess he's just making me aware there's so many people around you that need everyone's attention. The fact that he's not there, he doesn't want to take the attention away from the living. And that's the way he is. He got enough of it when he was here. Because if you told him boo, he was like, bye-bye. I do. I feel like I'm too cool for that. I got to go.
My guy.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's like funny because you love him for it, but you want to just smack him. That's what I feel like. And, you know, he always had this real ultimate respect for you, though. I got to say, because he knew when you really meant it. And he would just like, it would like, I could feel when you would say something, he could feel that fear. All right. Okay, Mom. All right. I do. I feel like you could really lay it down and he, okay. There's a very deep respect there. So I need you to know that. And nobody else could have done that for him. He just needs you to know that you can't fix Dad. Okay? Hang on.
Oh.
So he's making me feel that you just need to know that he needs to go through his own process. It's not your job. And it'll be okay, but he needs to do it his way. It's not your job is to be the example, to show that it can be done. And your way doesn't have to be his way. So don't get caught up on that. You don't have to be in lockstep for healing paths. Okay? He might hold on to that for freaking 3 years that you can do in 3 months. And as it gets down the road, there's other things that'll reverse. You complement each other very well, but just don't feel that you're in the right all the time. Okay? because I feel like, sometimes you have to ask that question, do you want to be happy or do you want to be right?
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
It's true. And I feel like there's a lot of potential here for happiness in the household. And, I'm telling you, he keeps giving me this an example, like, Ma, if you were over here, what would you say? Would you want me to be miserable? And I know this is hard, but he just keeps making me feel like he just believes in you and he knows how strong you are. And you just need to take that with you and know that the way you live honors him and just have fun. He keeps bringing this up, like, you're taking everything so seriously. Like when you get over here, you're going to be like, oh my God, I wasted so much time worrying. Like he's just really, really a good kid, a good communicator. And I just feel like whatever this is, the way he went, he doesn't really want to get into it. He just wants you to know it was painless, it was quick, it was unexpected. But any other way would have been trauma and drama, and you would have had PTSD for the rest of your life. You understand?
Yep.
So I just need you to know, sometimes it's better to not be able to be there at the end or for them to pass quickly. And sometimes we need that process of caretaking, okay? I walked out of the room and my mom passed. I was like, what? I was there. That's how it was supposed to be. All right. So I just feel like you guys did everything you're supposed to do. Now you need to do what you need to do from here forward, but you can't stop the healing. You can't stop the love. If you want to honor him, love you, love your husband, love your kids, and be gentle on yourself. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Yeah. I'll leave you with that. Okay. Thank you. It's always an honor and privilege. One other thing too. So this might be for the next person. Do you understand the Sam? Okay. Thank you.
Oh my
Amazing.
goodness. That was
amazing.
amazing. Congratulations. Oh my gosh. I don't know. I think there were messages for all of us in there. Okay, tell us what we need to do to help you, Drew.
So let me just sit with this for a real quick minute, because sometimes at the end of a link, is what we call it, I don't like to just jump on the next piece of information and make it everything, because it might not. I want to make sure who I have here is who's here. Okay, so just give me a sec. So I have another younger boy, can't be older than 12, and maybe somewhere 7 to 12, and I just get this Sam or Sammy name around him. Does someone understand just that? And if not, it's okay. But if you do, so I saw someone nodding their head. If you do, just raise your hand like this so we can see.
So we have Polly C, who's got a Sam. And let's see.
So let me just say this. So who just raised their hand? I'm sorry.
Polly C. She said that she has a Sam.
Is the Sam that? So how many people are raising their hand?
We also have Beth. Her dad is a Sam. So you're saying 7 to 12 though. So that's,
yeah. This is a younger boy, and it might be like dad coming through with the younger boy, but there would have to be a boy with dad that's 7 to 12. But the name Sam is very significant. Sam or Sammy.
okay.
And Jen's iPhone over here too.
So
can we do this? I'm just gonna ask you guys, just nobody else chat. If you guys can go to the chat and just in general, so that we all see it, just tell me if it makes sense and how. So dad passed, his name was Sammy. If you don't understand a boy between 7 and 12, I don't think it's for you.
Okay. So everybody in the chat.
Okay, son Sam, but not 7 to 12. Got it. So Polly C, let me just come to you for a quick minute.
So let's see if we can find Polly C, maybe with Irene helping.
I asked her to unmute.
Oh, good job.
Hi.
Hey, okay, so I'm just gonna put you on spotlight for everybody. Okay, so you understand the name Sam, and you understand What else did you understand? I'm sorry.
He wasn't 7 to 12.
But you had a son named, okay. So do you understand that the number 7, like July or the 7th of a month being really significant, or no? It's okay if you don't. Okay. So
We have someone else who's saying her son is Sammy. He is the brother of our 10-year-old who passed. Would that be you maybe?
it might be it. That
I'm
might be
so
it.
sorry.
I'm sorry. I hate to bring someone up and kind of like disappoint, but stay tuned, because a lot of times it's hellos from heaven, just you know, a wave and a wink, right?
So this is, let's see, Jen's iPhone. Irene,
Okay.
oh, I see
Jen.
Jen's iPhone. Okay. And then she's raising her hand, which is great. Let's
Okay,
see.
I got her.
Spotlight.
So, hey, Jen, how are you?
Hey, doing all right, thank you.
All right. So you have a son named Sam that's living?
Yes, and he is 14.
That's okay.
And then,
you,
okay,
so you have a son named Sam who's living, and then you had a son passed who was between 7 and 12.
yes.
Okay. So let me just kind of stay with this for a minute, okay? Because I wasn't sure of anything else except that. So I don't know if it's going to be, like, every reading is different, the way that they come through, right? Hold on. So do you have 2 sisters or a sister?
A sister.
Okay. I just keep seeing the 2 girls. So I know that there's a grandmother here that comes in, and it's from dad's side. You understand that? Okay. So I know
Yes.
that grandma's here. It's very important that you understand she's here. And I know, Jen, I want to really see your face. Can you come back on?
Yeah, hang on one second. I'm just telling my husband to come over here.
Yep. I just want to stay with it while I got it.
Okay.
Okay. The conditions are really important for me. Otherwise I'll lose it and start thinking about it and screw it up. So we can't
Okay.
wait. I need to see your
Okay,
picture.
I'm here.
Okay.
I'm
So
here. Okay.
as I connect with this, because there's a recording of it, he can come back to it. Okay. I know that grandmother on dad's side is here. I also know that, so do you understand the J?
Potentially, yes.
Okay, I don't know if it's a J name or the name J, but I saw just the J, and I wanted to go like Jason or J. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Okay. And do you also understand there was another child that did not make it?
Yes.
Okay, because I feel like there's a rocking of a baby here on the other side. I have like the little soul here with the other soul, okay? But that's with grandma. And it's funny because there must be who's German?
I don't think anybody.
Okay, so you sure? So it's either German or Polish. There's
Okay.
this, do you understand that? Is that on this grandma's side or the other one?
It's on my side. There are 2 grandmas, so I don't know
Okay,
which one.
because it's almost like they'll give me an identifier if I have 2 of the same relationships, so I don't screw them up. Just so you
Okay.
know, okay? So I just need to kind of pull that in, and it's so funny. So I get a bunch of stuff, so just bear with me a second. So do you understand that there was an illness here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Dog thinks so too. So I just feel like it's really important. I just get this, I feel sick. That's how I feel. Okay. So don't tell me anything. I just want to let it kind of come. I don't pretend to be a medical expert either. But I feel like there's something wrong with my blood, or I have, are you still there? You kind of froze.
I'm still
Right
here.
there? So do you understand that? So this was something where he had to constantly go in at the end, or there was something going on where there was a known illness or ailment. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Okay. So was this like some sort of lymphoma or cancer that was spread throughout the body?
No.
So I just keep feeling like my whole body, it's like something's wrong with my blood is how I feel. So I don't know if that means infection or what, but I know that I just keep feeling like I'm really sick. And I know that, so would you understand with the way that the illness was going that it might have been a potential for him to pass?
No.
Okay. Did somebody miss something? Because I feel like there's something here about a feeling that is, and I can't mistake this, and I just have to say it the way I'm getting it. I just keep getting this feeling like there's a subtle undertone of either you strongly believe that this should have been avoided, or somebody missed something and you found out after. Does this make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't know how to word that, but sometimes it's hard to give impressions the way I'm getting it. So so that makes sense to me. Okay. And I know these can be really emotional. I need you to take a breath, because I can feel your intensity for wanting what you want. And it's starting to, I can feel the demand, and it happens naturally. So just breathe. Okay. So do you understand this was like 2 years ago or within 2 years? Is that a yes or a maybe? Yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I really need you on this. Okay.
Okay.
I always joke in Jersey, people are like, nope, it makes no sense, you know? And when it's a yes, they're like, maybe. So I just stay with me. Okay. I also know that so do you understand the swim lessons?
Yes.
Okay. So you keep showing me like either you like the swim lessons, or you keep showing me like I'm going to the pool, I'm getting in like swim lessons. So I don't know if it's ongoing now that he's talking about trying to show you, but this is just what he keeps showing me. And I also know that, so do you still have like a purple stuffed animal or a dinosaur or something? You don't understand this?
No.
So the way that I'm receiving this, like,
Okay.
I can't make it anything else, so I won't.
Okay.
But he keeps showing me like almost like a purple Barney. All right, like a
Huh.
yeah. So to me, it's like, yeah, I can't make it anything else. It's too vivid for me to like make it a metaphor.
Okay.
Like it feels like I don't know, it feels like a stuffed animal, but like I keep seeing it almost like mixed with a dinosaur cartoon. That's just the way I see it.
Okay.
And so, hang on. So you said he was 10?
Yes.
Okay. Is there somebody right now that's 12?
Yes.
Is that the boy? You froze.
Yes.
Okay. So did dad just like help him shave his mustache
Yes.
or something?
Yes. Oh, I don't know.
Like, or just joke about it, because he keeps showing me this. I'm sorry, when you're freezing, it's just hard. I don't know if you're saying yes to me now or before.
I don't know.
That's right. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to so let me just hold on a second. So Joan, I don't want to run away from you, Jen. Just give me a second, because I need to make sure first and foremost that I'm going to bring up, where's Joan? Because I might have them both here. Maybe that's why I'm kind of stuck. Give me a sec.
I'm
asking
moving to
Joan
make
to
sure my
unmute.
signal is better.
Right, where's Joan? Joan, can you raise your hand somehow?
So Joan,
I asked
help
her
us
to
out.
unmute.
Oh, you
Oh,
got
there
it?
you are. Okay, so I'm just going to add you to the spotlight so I can see you both. Okay, so Joan, you're off of mute, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you understand the dinosaur, the purple thing, or the Barney or thing or whatever?
Oh, yes. It was his
Okay.
favorite toy.
Okay, and
Yes.
do you understand other things that I've said, or just that?
Yes. Yes.
So what else did you understand? Because usually if I am kind of hitting a wall, it's either it's changing or I have multiple connections.
Well, kind of death, unexpected.
How old was he?
He was 25.
I don't know. That I have to say this is younger. So maybe it is piggybacking, because the way that I'm seeing that.
Yeah.
So you guys just both stay with me for a second, okay?
Okay, but I do want to let you know that I grew up in suffering. So right near you.
That's funny. Don't tell me anything else. Don't tell me anything else. I don't want it to influence my brain. Okay. I don't mean to be rude, but it's just important, please. I don't mean to be rude. I really want to stay with them. So, okay. So do you understand that he feels accountable for his passing, Joan?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Because it's either suicide or it's a drug overdose.
Well, it was drugs, but
Right.
it
So
was
hang on a sec.
okay.
So do you understand that there were question marks around it?
A lot.
Right.
Yes.
So I have to tell you that, so there were drug problems on and off, correct?
Not a tiny bit, but not really.
There were more than you think.
Maybe.
I'm sorry to say. Definitely.
Maybe. Yes.
Because there's
Okay.
pills. There's pills. There's ADD medication.
Yes.
Right. And there's also Xanax, and there's pain pills, and there's snorting of whatever that is, whatever the pain pill that people snort. It's like heroin, because I feel like this progression was very quick when it was on and off. And I feel like he knew he was playing with fire. He didn't do it on purpose, but I still feel like, and excuse me for saying this, kind of like, if it happens, it happens. Like, I feel like I'm in party mode, I'm invincible, but I also feel like this was a bad time. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay. So I don't know if there's an issue here with a girlfriend or if there's an argument with you, because I feel like there's a significant interaction and there's blame that's still there. Do you understand this?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
It's
Kind of. That was kind of like a negative yes. So,
well,
and that's okay. Don't explain. Let me,
okay.
I really want to try to sort this out. I just feel like, so I definitely have both of these. So do you understand the name Mike or Michael? Either of you? Joan, do you? It's either living or past, but it needs to be connected to you or him. No, you wouldn't have to think about it that way.
I have a cousin, my ex-fiance, but that wasn't my son's name.
Did the ex-fiance pass?
No.
No. I'm sorry. Okay. So I just got to say, I feel like, Jen, I want to just come back to you for a second. I just need you to know that. So did you feel that the one that didn't come to term was going to be a girl?
Yeah, kind of.
Because I feel like it's like he keeps making me feel like, tell mom there's a girl. It was a girl. And like, you'll know it's me. So it's like he's using other things, but I don't have like a direct line with him. And I can't force that. And I just feel like it's the venue, it's the timing, and it's the place. You may not like it. I understand that, but I just have to be honest with the way that I'm getting it. Okay. And also, if your husband's in the room or there's other things going on where the conditions are a little chaotic, it can make a connection slow down. Okay. But I will say, I'm not blaming you. I'm just saying that sometimes they're just short. He just needed to come through here and let you know, because he gave you enough evidence to let you know that he's okay. Please take this as your hello from heaven. And the big thing for him is, it's like you're constantly asking for signs, right? And he's making me feel like he's always giving them to you. They're just never what you want them to be.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? Because I keep seeing like orange butterflies, right? And like I keep seeing like he's like trying to give you what he can, and you're like, yeah, but that's not what I asked for. Right? So when you go into a reading like that, it actually makes it harder for him to give you what you want because you have strong wants. And I get it. So just know that he's doing everything he can, but I gotta say to you, like, wait a little bit longer if you're gonna get a private, because it will come a time where you're gonna have an excellent reading, but I feel like there's still some work that needs to happen internally. And so you went to therapy and then stopped.
No, still in therapy.
Oh, is that you, Joan?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, I don't mean to have two. It's funny, like I can't tell. So all right. So normally it doesn't work with this. Joan, I just need to tell you, like, you need to get back into that because it'll help you just process it. We're not supposed to do this alone. And I know you guys are doing this with the grief group. I think that is absolutely fantastic. But I still feel like, look, there are some people that will lose a cat and come in and you would think they lost 6 kids. And there are people that come in and lose, a child and you would never know. So we all handle things differently, but we still have to just get honest about where we are and go through the healing process. That means anything and everything that's going to help you, you go, right? That means Reiki, that means meditation, that means learning about it. But the thing is, I feel like this is a message for both of you, is to not intellectualize it so much. Because I feel like both of you are just really up here energetically. And I feel like from both of your sons, it's like, just know that intellectualizing it is actually bringing on more pain. It's like, if you can imagine energy or emotion as energy in motion, like we need to actually really let it pass through and work through it, as difficult as it is. Because if we intellectualize it long enough, we tell ourselves it's good, everything's good, it's not there. And I feel like there's a real spiritual epiphany in here for both of you that will come if you keep doing the work. Okay. 2 things too. So Joan, I know you meditate, correct?
Yes.
But Jen, I feel like you don't, correct?
I'm trying.
Right. So the reason I'm getting it like this is because I just feel like that the trying of the meditation is where you're going to find some of the most profound answers, but they're levels of understanding. They're not through the mind. They're levels of understanding. When you stop looking for it, you have that space where you go and all of a sudden you're like, am I in it? Am I sleeping? That's where you need to be in order to receive it, because you're very headstrong. And there's nothing wrong with this. It's just, I feel like there's a lot of fight in the mind. Where with Joan, I feel like you're like, I'm over it. I got it. And like, don't do that. Don't do it alone. Okay. So I just feel like for both of you, they wanted to come through together because they wanted to be able to kind of piggyback, I guess. I don't have any control of that, but I need you to know that you're in this together, all of you. And they want you to know that. You don't think that your kids brought you guys here tonight. You don't think that your kids somehow linked up breadcrumbs for you to come here. Do you think that if they gave you all the signs that you wanted, Jen, that you'd be happy? You'd want more. Right?
That's
I'm
true.
telling you, I've given people such a good reading. I had people drive 5 hours from Syracuse, come down for a reading. I felt so bad because now it was when they were walking out, they were like, can I come back on his birthday? Can I come back next month? That kind of thing. And I feel like it's really, really important because I don't feel that we can bring them through the way that we want, because then we want them back. And we need to understand that they're home, we're visiting. We need to let them be home and accept that we're visiting. And it's hard. It is hard, and it's a daily grind. Some days it's easy, some days it's not. I get it. But staying together is the number one thing. Isolating and insulating, especially during COVID, don't do it. Connect with people, because you sharing your pain with someone else is going to help someone else, right? We either spread healing by our example, or we're a warning of what not to do. So we can't do it perfectly, but we always are carrying a torch for someone else, okay? So I'll leave you with that, and I just need you guys to know, so both of your parents, Joan, passed?
Yes.
I just need you to know Mom and Dad are here. They're just stepping in here real quick at the end. I just need you to know that everything's handled. Also, there's a lot of alcoholism in the family, correct?
A little bit, yes.
A lot. So or addiction, okay? And I'm not knocking it. I'm an alcoholic and a drug addict in recovery. I'm saying that there's a lot of family dynamics with codependence and that kind of thing is a family disease. So there's a lot of healing and trauma that's happened from childhood and up, but also your parents. So I just feel like it's really important to honor the whole package of who you are and the family, because I feel like you like being independent, but you don't like being alone. So it's like this kind of push-pull. And I just feel like you have everything you need, just slow it down. Just slow it down. And Jen, for you, I just feel like it's really important that you trust. And I know you have very vivid dreams when you do have dreams, correct?
Hardly ever have dreams, but when
so
I do,
just keep feeling like that might be the place that they're going to come and visit when you start letting go of trying to control how they visit.
okay.
Okay? Because we have to loosen up the bandwidth, and we have to let go And like, we feel like if we hold on, you know, the other door might not open, you know, like, I'm just gonna hold on to this one, this is what I want. But I just feel like relaxing the grip on the how and the when and the what will literally make so many more opportunities for them to give, and you'll be very happy. The magic is in the unexpected. It's not, because if you get what you expect, you'll doubt it. Like, oh, I must have manifested that, right? That's what we'll do. The light flashes, well, no, it's not magical enough, right? So just trust me when I say that. And they're never not connected to you. You're never not looked after, but they want you to become your best keeper. Okay? So I'll leave you guys with that. All right?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Drew, can I just tell you something very quickly?
Sure.
Carla is saying, this is amazing. So many signs are from my Michael. Barney was his best friend when he was little. He wanted to visit Mexico for the migration of the orange butterflies prior to his passing. He passed from blood cancer, leukemia. I am so blessed to be here tonight hearing this. Thank you.
Oh, it's beautiful. Thank you. Thanks for
Oh,
confirming that. You know, it's not always, we don't always get validations. And as mediums, a lot of times I get, let me just try to unspotlight you. How do I do this? There we go.
Yeah.
I find that there's always a message. I feel like groups are like a double-edged sword, because some people go and then they have this big letdown and they just keep setting themselves up. And I'm like, I've had people sign up for like 5 groups. I had one woman book 4 groups for 5 people. She would sit right in the middle. She had 2 people next to her. And every single time I'd skip right over her. And I don't know what it was. The 3rd or 4th time I finally said to her, like, she's like, well, I was trying to save money. I'm like, how'd that work for you? You know, like, so. And it was nice because she was the medium for some other people to get messages, but she came back for a Reiki session and had the most incredible reading and Reiki session because the healing was needed. So remember, sometimes it's conditioned, sometimes it's timing, but there's always a reason and a purpose. And it's not because you don't deserve it or you're getting overlooked. It's because your best version of the situation that you want hasn't been given an opportunity yet. Okay. So I hope that makes sense. So I know that you guys want me to continue. I really can't. With connections, what I'd love to do is take you in to a guided meditation and close out. But before I do that, are there any other questions?
Important questions.
Yeah.
Asking how to get in touch with you, and if you have a wellness center. I know it's in Ramsey, New Jersey. So we'll put that in the information when we put the YouTube video up. But are you booking out a long way for readings? And I also want to just let everyone know that Drew is currently going through the certification process that Mark Ireland has to be a certified medium, which I'm very excited about that. So could you just tell a little bit about what your availability is, and if people want to be able to get in touch with you, how they would do it, and how difficult it would be, how long the wait is?
Sure. Actually, I put off doing readings for a while. So I have readings that are available in May, April. I don't think there's any left in April, but I think May and June, because I wasn't sure if we were going to be in office or not. So it works out. Also, you can go to drewcali.com. It's just www.drewcali.com. And on there, if you go to the readings page, you can go to the private readings. There's also open group galleries once a month. And you can go to the classes page, and there's like very inexpensive meditations, a class on spirit guides and angels and how to connect with your loved ones. There's butterfly series. I teach a lot of intuitive, empathic, and psychic awareness classes. Also mediumship development. The biggest thing for me in the readings is I want the readings to be evidential, timed right, and I do a lot of group work. So sometimes I only do so many readings in a day. So I want to give somebody the best quality that I can. And I'm up till about 11 o'clock doing classes or teaching every night. So whatever I can do to help facilitate, but I will say I do get a lot of emails and also one of the big things, I do a lot of Facebook Lives. If you go to Drew Cali Psychic Medium at Facebook, and if you like and follow the page there, like tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., every Thursday, I just started this show called Press Pause. So I'm trying to do it where I'm getting to as many people as I can in a free manner or in a random manner, but I don't want people holding on for that, because again, I've had people in a group where I started doing groups that were 25 people or less, or I would do 12 people. There's always like one that doesn't get what they want. And I find it hard, because opening up to that beauty also leaves me really vulnerable and sensitive to your energy too. So please know, if you go to a group, you are part of the experience. And, it's funny, what I've learned over the years is when I do really well, I'm like, it was a good group. When I don't do well, I'm like, yeah, I was off. But sometimes the group energy really dictates the quality and the way the flow is for the readings. And you guys really I could tell that you guys were really in it for each other. And although that some of you are really hurting, the thing is, again, God is doing for you what you can't do for yourself always. I mean, I can't tell you how many things that did not happen for me. Thank God, So we might not have the best idea when our reading should be and what our symbols should be and when we should get contacted and how it should be healed, right? We can't be our own problem and our own solution. The solution is within us, but we need other people around us to reflect back the light within us. And we need to be in a vulnerable state, in an honest space, in a humble space, to be able to heal, and it requires us to put our hand out. The last thing I wanted to do was this work. I was hoping I would get everything wrong. I just was like, I'm not doing this. Why would I want to do this? And I can't even picture my old life. So, things can change. You can get better. I think about Emily often, but the terms that I think about her in, she was the trajectory that pushed me towards a spiritual awakening. If my life was good and I didn't have any of that loss with my mom, my daughter, my marriage falling apart, my brother-in-law stabbed himself to death 16 times, right? Took a handful of pills, went to work, stabbed himself to death. And we had to go, it was incredible. How can you do that? And he was a military guy, knew what he was doing. The pain in my family because of that. There were 2 kids, my sister, and it's very difficult. And, healing, we're born, we start healing, right? But the pain is usually because we feel we should have done something. We could have stopped it, that they can't make it without us. And the need to be needed, that codependence and that counterdependence is really about us. And we have to work through that to the best of our ability. I'm not saying it's selfish. I'm just saying that it's a part of the dynamic as a parent, especially. So, we have to find other ways to be able to put that energy out there and do it in a productive way. That's our job. So I hope you find that. All right. Is there one other question?
Can I just very quickly say,
Please.
Watching others get readings filled with messages and validations actually does me good as well. This is Vincenza saying this. If their child is okay in communicating, then I know my son is okay as well. And I think that that's something that's really important to take out of all of these meetings. We have people who have already signed up for a group reading with you. So important, this beautiful message. Thank you. Actually witnessing your authentic self and truly grateful, or enjoyed witnessing your authentic self and truly grateful receiving the piggybacking messages. This is Carla again. Thank you. Please come back.
And Elizabeth, I just wanted to ask Drew. Drew, are you still doing meditations on Facebook? Weren't you doing them on?
I do. I mix it up, but this Sunday at 9 a.m., there's a Sacred Soul series that I do one Sunday a month. Excuse me. It's 9 to 10:30. I do 1 or 2 guided meditations, and then people share in between. And I take people into just like an inspired space, and it's really a good group of people. And some of the people on it have meditated for years and years and years, so the energy is really potent, There's a lot of healers that come, mediums, a lot of psychics and mediums that I work with or teach. So it's a really good energy if you're interested. And I do try to do as much free stuff as I can, but it's usually spontaneous nowadays, just because I'm just really busy with Zoom.
So we do have people asking if you have time to do the meditation. I know it's not
Absolutely.
gonna be very long. Okay, wonderful.
Yeah.
So everybody's saying, I hope they'll do the, I'm
Yeah,
interrupting
absolutely.
you. So let's
No,
do the
all good.
meditation, which is
All right,
wonderful.
guys. So please just close your eyes, sit comfortably, and just allow your breath to get into a natural rhythm. Okay? You're going to want to sit in a space where your back is upright and you don't have to move. Okay? If your feet are flat on the floor, that's great. If you're lying down, that's fine. But just sit in a space where you're not going to have to move, where you're comfortable, undisturbed, and allow your breath to get in that natural rhythm. And just allow your out breath to be a little bit longer than your in breath. Just breathe out any tension that you may have, any doubt, any fear, any resistance, anything that's negative or down energy. Just breathe it out. Imagine you're breathing up from the earth, this clear wave of energy. And as you breathe out, clear waves of energy come out every pore in your skin. And it releases the heavier, toxic, emotional residue. And as you continue to breathe, you start to notice there's a sliver in the atmosphere just above your head. And this gentle wave of clear, calm energy starts pouring down through the mind, the face, down the shoulders, arms, hands, and fingers, down through your chest and back, torso, hips, down through your knees, feet, and toes, and allow it to go deep into the earth as far as the mind will allow it to go. And just feel the calm, feel the peace. Feel your shoulders relax. Feel your face muscles relax. And as you continue to breathe, you start to notice this beautiful white, warm light coming up from the bottom of your feet to your knees, your hips, up to your chest, and it comes right out the top of your head, and it gently circles around you as your own personal hurricane of grace, with you at the center, perfect, whole, complete. Just notice your breath becoming white. And as you go beyond thought, beyond mind, beyond self, into that space where you're weightless, timeless, connected to all that is, all that ever was, and all that will be. Just allow yourself to just be. And suddenly you realize that the floor is no longer underneath you. You're hovering just above the clouds, just below the stars, connected to all that is, perfectly peaceful, perfectly suspended and supported. And you could feel these beings of light surrounding you gently. Trust and know that they're there. Your loved ones, your guardians, your angels. And you can see out into the universe as far as the mind will allow you to go. Perfect, quiet, peace. And you begin to feel a gentle pull back down to the earth, as if the earth is naturally coming up towards you as well. And in the flash of an instant, you're sitting on the most beautiful beach. You could feel the sand underneath your toes. You could hear the waves in the background. You could smell and taste the salt in the air. You could hear the seagulls off in the distance. You could feel the breeze. And there's this beautiful sun that's just about to set. out over the horizon that's shining down upon your skin. And this beautiful golden glow begins to emit through your skin as if your spiritual self is awoken. And once again, just allow yourself to become a state of being. And there's this brilliant flash of light right next to you, and you have a visitor. Stay out of your mind. Allow it to be of the heart and of the spirit, a natural, organic, energetic exchange. Nothing more, nothing less. Just feel the love. You might have multiple visitors. And you start to notice a coolness in the air as the sun begins to set. And there's a single phrase or a word that resonates through your mind and your heart. What is it? Accept it. Let it go. And now you notice just next to you is a spirit animal making eye contact with you just before it disappears. And once again, you come back to the room that you started in, and you breathe up through your lower back and out clear waves of energy through every pore in your skin. And you're reminded that you're exactly where you're supposed to be. And just bring your awareness to gratitude, not for what you have, but for who you are and for all that you are. And know there's nothing to be afraid of. You carry the power of the universe within the center of your being. And I want you to just imagine the energy of someone living floating in front of you like a silhouette of their energetic self, someone that really needs healing. And you feel these beautiful angelic hands behind you, flooding you with this energetic light. And it begins to pulsate through your being. And it gently pulsates into the being and the essence of that energy in front of you. And we ask that the highest healing frequencies be sent and received for their highest and greatest need, their highest and greatest good, emotionally, physically, mentally, and spiritually. And just allow it to pass through you for them without attachment to outcome, just with love, just with peace. Just open the door for the light and allow them to be wrapped in a blanket of color. You might begin to notice a spider web of energy around them as it starts to affect other parts or other people in their life, if they accept it. But you peacefully part with the outcome. And just as you do that, you notice that there's a version of you sitting in that space looking back at you. And now you're sending that same energy through you to you. Allow yourself to receive that love. Allow yourself to receive that gentle patience. Allow yourself to receive truth. Allow yourself to be open and willing Allow yourself to be okay. Allow yourself permission to be strong and vulnerable. Allow yourself to trust again. And you begin to just float backwards and upwards outside of yourself, and you notice yourself simply as an energetic being. Notice your energy. Notice the light that pulsates through you, from you, to you, so that life can happen for you. How does that feel? Feel your own power. Claim it. Or the fear will claim you. Now, I just want you to imagine it's as if all these doorways open up around you and this giant space opens up, and everybody sitting here together is sitting in a giant circle, and all the light from the center of you is connecting in that circular fashion through you, amongst you, empowering all of you, reinvigorating you, refreshing you, releasing that no longer serves you. And just say a gentle prayer and talk a little bit to your loved one from your heart, not your head. Use this calm, peaceful space to not demand, but to love, to respect, to accept, to be at peace. And I just want you to be aware of funny memories, silly memories, the little things. And hear that they don't want you to miss any more of the little things in the now or going forward. The little things are the big things. That's the magic. And just gently breathe your way back to the room you started in as your physical being reintegrates with that energetic presence within you. And with each in-breath and out-breath, you become more physically aware, more conscious. Come back to the room, wiggle your fingers and toes if you need to. And just open your eyes when you're ready. And this is the conscious state of grace that you're supposed to be in and live in and walk in. We just get to visit home here and there. So it's really an honor and a privilege for me to share this space, especially this space with you. I could feel the love, the presence, and the complete, I feel completely encircled by the spirit. And I hope you do too. And I hope you had some really good experiences. And feel free, if you want to email me at info@drewcali.com. If you want to share some, by all means, please do. It's just info@drewcali.com if you had a real cathartic experience. I might not be able to answer everybody, but I'll get back to you a little bit over the next couple of days. But I hope you enjoyed, and know that mediums may be the bridge between the two realms, but everybody acts as a medium at one point or another. And you can learn to be your own medium if you can understand the way the language works. And we have to be in the right mind space, the right heart space. And it's hard, but you can get there if you work at it. I would say there's nothing more powerful than meditation. There's nothing more powerful than prayer and forgiveness and acceptance. So God bless you all. Hey, Marilyn, my lady, how you doing? It's good to see you. I didn't see you. So I have a lot of love for you guys. I grew up with her sons. I love Marilyn.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Well,
So Elizabeth, thank you.
thank you so much. This was wonderful, Drew.
Yeah, it was
And you
what a
gave
night.
so much time to us. I truly appreciate it. Thank you all for staying on here as well. And hopefully we'll be able to have you come back again at some time in the
I'd love to.
future.
Anytime.
We would love that. So thank you all for being here. I think that Irene might have
Yes, I've
already
unmuted everyone. If you'd like to unmute.
Thank
yourself,
you.
just say
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you,
Thank
Drew.
you.
So
Drew,
much.
so
So
much. It was
much.
amazing.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks,
Thank you.
everybody.
That was
Drew.
amazing.